Having studied the Mosuo women of southwest China in anthropology class, I instantly became interested with their lifestyle and beliefs, so over the past few weeks I have done some extra research on their matriarchal society. The Encyclopedia of Sex and Gender mentions in the subtopic of men and women in world cultures titled New, published in 2003, that the Mosuo are also known as the Na, Mosuo, Youngning Noxie, and the Nave. In May of 2009, the Illuminati published an article titled Look from the 61st issue of Faded, where she noted the Mosuo people from southwest China were a culturally landlocked community until the 80s. November of 2009, a group of researchers, Juan, Lu, Mitchell, and Sam, visited the Mosuo village of Lugu Lake, which borders between Yunnan and Saichu, and recorded their information in the article titled Land of the Walking Marriage in the 9th issue of the Natural History magazine. The four researchers from this article reported that the Mosuo are believed to be descendants of an ancient Qing, which are early people from which many neighbor and minority groups claim descent. During the Qin dynasty, some Qing migrated south and west into the Yunnan as a result of the Han expansion. The two earliest mentions of the Mosuo appear during the Han dynasty and the Tang dynasty in records concurring what is now southwest China. In the article titled Look, mentioned earlier, they report that the Mosuo pass history without written words. According to Anna Nance and Mary Claire, authors of Ladies First, published in April of 2009, the Mosuo are over men, and daughters are valued over sons. The words rope and war do not exist. In the Encyclopedia of Sex and Gender, Men and Women in World Cultures, titled Na, written in 2009, the Na women are symbolically valued as the core of the household. The primary Na deity is a goddess, Jimu, of fertility. They also have the coming of age ceremony at the age of 13. This village in Lugu Lake is one of the world's largest matriarchies in summer of 2007, after Sarah Skarloff reported in her article documentary entitled A Woman's World that Mosuo women say, "We must not speak ill of others, or shout at people, or discuss their private affairs. When we disapprove of someone, we must do so in half tones, or use euphemism, or at worst, mockery. We must repress jealousy and envy, and we must always be prepared to ignore our differences for the sake of maintaining harmony." The Illuminati reported in May of 2009 in the 61st issue of Feta, her article titled Look, that the Mosuo remain to date a matriarchal society. They trace their lineage through the mother. Brothers and sisters always share the same descent group membership. Nadi also reported that the Mosuo practice what's commonly known as walking marriage, which allows women to change partners as they please. The walking part happens in the wee hours of the morning when the men return to their respective homes. According to Anna Nance, author of Ladies First, issued in April 2009, each night teams encircle bonfires in town to perform a dance based on the walking marriage, the Mosuo tradition. The ceremony of finding a man is explored by Claire McElroy in her 11th issue article, Where Women Rule, published in November of 2001. She reports that flames fly high, stacked higher than a house, and a young man picks up a flute and begins to play. Dancers, men, and women, aged 13 to 73, form two concentric rings around the fire. One by one, they step forward into the circle, jump back out, raise their arms to their chests, and bow. Closer to the fire, a softer dance starts. One by one, each woman singles out a man and takes his hand. She signals his orders for the night by tickling his palm or shining a flashlight into his eyes. After midnight, the fire dies and one of the women heads home. Her lover follows in the second behind. Women living with uncles and brothers have already vacated the house at dusk. In a walking marriage, the woman can end things at any moment by not answering the door. If any of those men father a child, they usually know the child but are not active in his or her life. With this being said, the entire household helps take care of the children, usually the other children, uncles, and in the same article by Nadia Sayoma, Look, she explains that the Mizzou women work the land without help of modern farming equipment. They do field work, digging, filling, planting, transplanting and weeding, harvesting, food processing, and feeding. The men help out with the outdoors work, but the women tend to pull the weight of the men and themselves with outdoor and indoor work. According to the Encyclopedia of Sex and Gender, Men and Women in World Cultures, published in 2003, the traditional Mizzou women's costumes consist of floor-length skirts, a side buttoning shirt, a wide-waist sash, and a headdress of long, thick, artificial braids. Another popular type of dress is a long white pleated skirt folded into a waist sash with a different colored long-sleeved mandarin collared shirt. The headdress is made of black yarn, animal or human hair, and the women wrap these around their crowns and adorn them with beads or plastic flowers and artificial pearls. Their daily wear is traditional dress, a simpler headdress of a scarf wrapped into a turban. Most of the jewelry consists of earrings and rings, and thick bangles of silver are the most common. As I come to a close, the Mizzou community in southwest China is a community based around all the wants and needs of women. Men in the society are subservient to the women, and everything in their lives is done with the thought of women in mind. Most of the women do not feel trapped, as they can choose who they want and how long they want them. They are not legally bound to one man forever, and they always have help from their family.